Welcome back to another episode of LavaCraft. Last time we built this awesome ski lodge and it looks really good. But today we have bigger plans. A few months ago, we came on the server and we dug out this massive trench. And I'd love to continue this project today. So what we need to do is dig out this massive area for our base. So we need to build 3 more trenches. One going this way, all the way to about here. Then another going this way. And then finally a third one looping back onto our first, way over here. So that will be our ultimate goal for this episode. Getting these trenches, and then possibly, if we have time, building the massive world eater. This episode's gonna be a big one, so stay tuned. And if you like seeing big builds, be sure to subscribe for more. Before we begin on this big dig, we have a little bit of work left over from last episode. We finished the ceiling and it wasn't completely oxidized, and now it's a little over oxidized. So let's get to work on this. If I get my toolbox out here, we have our nice shovel that we can use to dig this area out. And clearing this up will just make this a lot easier. Now, the ultimate purpose of this is to actually put honey on these. So if I get a bunch of honeycomb out, we can start getting this going. I can strip this back to the level we want, then we can slowly apply honey. All right, so I have exhausted my honeycomb from here, so we'll have to get more at some other point, but that'll be good for now. At least we have a good 3/4 or so of it done. Now we can start to get some materials. And get some materials I have done. So here's everything we'll need for this trencher. So let's get ready to build it. So like last time, our trencher has 2 different parts, one all the way over here and one way over here. And it's gonna make a big line all the way through. So we're gonna have to slowly build our way up and build this trencher. So here up in the sky, I have built these platforms, and they're gonna be making this very easy to build. So all I need to do is place down my trencher, get a few materials, and I can start. So if I place a temporary block here, I need 2 glass. That looks like a slime block. What is this? It's a normal piston. So I can do a little trick here, and I can go into free cam, place it like that. That's a regular sticky piston. That's a slime block. And then on the other side, we can do something similar. Break the slime block. That's a normal piston. So you place it like that. There. And there. Now this bottom section's done. So you just need to do the top. And that's fully built. So now we can break this. Awesome. So now we have one other thing to focus on, which is the main flying machine. And it is right over here on this platform. This is going to be the more difficult part because it is explosive. So we have to be extra cautious in what we place. Perfect. And now we're ready to test it. So what do? We break this. And yeah, it seems to be running. And it's slowly destroying. That's what we want to see. All right, so I've run this trencher, and here we have another big trench all the way down to bedrock, and it's looking good. It's a lot of effort to do this, so this took about a full day of AFKing on and off to get this going, and it's run. I've cleaned it up, and everything is ready to go. So then we'll have to move on to another trench, and that one will be right over in this area, kind of heading all the way over here. And then we'll have one final trench going all the way over here. So a lot of work still to do, but we're slowly getting it. I want to take a quick break from this major project and talk about what I've been working on off camera. So last episode we built this massive nether hub, and I've been slowly working on the tunnels. I finished them with this little design like this that just goes straight out into the void, but I was talking to some other members of the server, and it would be quite difficult for them to all build these massive tunnels, so I ended up changing it up a bit. I decided to keep this section of tunnel that I originally had, and I put a cap on it with a smaller tunnel design going down the middle. These boxes are temporary while I still work on this, but we still have our soul speed areas, we have an ice boat road on either side, and there's still plenty of room to fly in if you know what you're doing. This tunnel happens to go to our end portal, and as well as our minigame district. And way down here, I've gotten this over here to a point where it can make a sharp left turn, and this will go out to our megabase. That is our megabase portal, way over there. Of course, there is a lot of work that goes into a project of this scale, so we've been slowly upgrading our farming infrastructure. I made a quick bamboo farm with Afton, because Afton needed a bunch of bamboo for a project, and I've been running our tree farm like crazy. This tree farm I built off camera, and it just helps me supply all the wood I need. And I put a shulker loader on it recently, so I can just get shulkers of the wood I need. And that makes it a lot easier for all this stuff to happen. Also off camera, I've been spending a lot of time doing villager work. And for villager work, I need a lot of emeralds. So I built a raid farm. So it is way over here, and it is working pretty well. So I got it going, and it pretty much supplies me all the emeralds I'll ever need. I ran it the other day, and I still have tons upon tons of resources, and a ton of emeralds too. So I no longer have to worry about that supply being a problem. I just have everything I need. So now I want to turn my attention to this second trencher. This is the entire world leader we're going to build later on. I'm not going to put too much focus on it because it is still in progress. But we need to build this other trencher. But I want to do a couple things first. One of the issues with this trencher design is that things like lava and water really tend to mess things up. So I want to be extra careful to make sure that this is removed at a time so we aren't worrying about it as much. So if I fly down to the bottom of this hole, I can grab a stick, which is my lightmatic tool. I can click from here, I'd say, and fly all the way up. Look for the other side of this trench. Add a little extra over. Let's say we go to somewhere like this. This will go a little further than we'd like, but that's extra fine. So I press I, area editor, and we go up a few extra blocks to find a nice spot that'll mark. And I think the top of this tree will be perfectly fine. I can go to area editor, manual origin, place this, and we'll save this as temp1. It's gonna take a lot of chunks, so I just gotta fly all the way over here, lag spike, and it's saved. Perfect. Now I can load a temporaries backup. This is a file that I had previously just for testing, and it allowed me to do what I want to do earlier, and now we're just gonna do it a little differently. So if I fly up, I'm gonna look for a nice position like 128. There we go. I can press I. Schematic placements, configure, move to player. That's not the exact one I wanted. So let's go to remove this one. We'll unload the schematic. We'll look for our new one. There we go. And I can use this and go to mode 5, which pastes it. And this is our schematic that we had previously. Now, it's got a few issues, like mobs and other stuff, so we'll set the difficulty to peaceful, just to remove the mobs. And you see there's water and lava and all that. So what we're gonna do is use world edit. So if I go to this position, go to position 1, I can go into spectator mode and move really, really fast and fly all the way down to the bottom and get a wand. And I can do that. / replace lava, comma, water, air. And that removed 2,000 blocks of pretty much what we don't want. So now we can come back and work on this again. And here's this first corner we had. Let's go to mode 1, reset position 1. Let's start by right clicking here. And we'll take our selection. We go to area editor. Move this just up to about there. And we stand on our sentry node that we had previously. Load schematics, area editor, move to player, and save that as temp 1.1. And here we are back on the server. So I'm going to go back to this Lightmatica, and we're going to load a schematic. Let me look for something. So we have this temp 1.1, and we'll just load it in. This should be loaded right now. Now what we need to do is go to this temporary schematic, go to schematic verifier, and we will start a verification. Once we've done this, we can see all of these items that are missing. This is water. That's not right. We're going to highlight that. We're going to highlight these, and we're going to highlight these extra blocks. All of these waters should not be there. Same thing with this. Planks are okay. Lava we don't want. Gravel is okay. And air is okay. So now that these are highlighted, we can see them all in the ground of where we're going to fix them. So we'll have to fly to these locations and remove them. Here it is. So yeah, there's this underwater cave, and these are always kind of annoying to empty out. So what we need to do is get some weird blocks and kind of block off what we aren't going to do and figure out what we are going to do. So first let me get my ender chest. I keep a bunch of extra items in here just to make sure that I can do this work a little easier. So what I'm going to do is cover this half of it with stone so I don't have to worry about as much water clearing. So it's just more and more of this. And now I'm going to get ready to build this trencher again. So let me knock that out and we'll do it. All right, so our platforms are in, and now we just got to build the machine. So I've gone ahead and built most of the trencher. It just needs the last couple blocks to get going. So if we fly all the way up here, this is where we trigger it. I like to have the sign here when I'm not using it, just to make sure that I remember. Coming down into this hole, we need this, and this. And now all we need to do is have our explosives primed. So I'm going to turn on easy place mode. And I'm going to sneak all the way over here. It may be easier to get onto the other side. There we go. And now the machine is built. And it is ready to go. I'm not going to run it just yet because there's a couple things I want to do before I do so. But it is ready to go. Now, I generally don't like to have all of my gear on me when I run this. It's more of a safety thing because I am likely to die. So what I tend to do is take off all of my armor and my gear, and I run it from there. But before we do that, there's one precaution I also make when I run this. and that is to have a couple beacons in the area. Whenever in the last hole, I ended up placing beacons along the lines just to make it a little easier on myself. So if I happened to die or something happened, nothing would go too wrong. But now I have the opposite issue of, ow. I no longer need these beacons over here. I need them on the other side. So we have to come down here and break them down. Now our trencher is completely prepped and ready to go. So we're just gonna wait until we're ready to do it, and we'll launch it, and we'll be ready to go. All right, with everything ready to go, it is now time to start the third explosion set. So we're gonna fly all the way up here, and we're gonna land right on our trencher, and here we go. Begins the trencher. So what I'm gonna do is fly around it, and try to land. Catch. There we go. Catch the seat. So this is where I will be for the next while as this runs. So we see these trees down here are gonna slowly get blown up, and everything will work. I placed this around these large trees, so hopefully it won't get disrupted, and everything should work. I'll be AFK in this area for quite a while, checking back on it every now and again, just to make sure everything's running smoothly. So yeah, that'll be what I'll be doing. And our third trench is finally done. It took a very long time to get this done, but it worked, and everything is running smoothly. So it's all finished. We can wrap this up later. But I want to take a little break from the big trencher and focus on this ceiling. Right at the beginning of this episode, we ended up trying to get out a bunch of it and get it back in order, but we missed a few spots because we ran out of honeycomb. I've since gone over to the old bee farm and got some honeycomb. So right down here, we have a bunch of it. So let me grab a few stacks, and hopefully we have enough. I will also need a shovel. So if I go into my ender chest, I keep all my tools on me, which happens to have a shovel. So we'll fly up to the top, and we'll dig out all of this unneeded snow just to help us get this done. Now if I press F3 and look at the block, right over here it tells us what it is. So we can tell that this is weathered, so now it's waxed. So yeah, all of these need to be waxed, and all these are. This one spot over here is not, so that will also be waxed. And all of these have been done up to this point, except for around this corner. I missed a spot. So we're gonna knock these out. Perfect, so all of this should be nice and waxed. And our roof is finally done, so this project is completely done. At this point in our journey, we only have one trencher to go. So let's try to knock this out. Now our platform's in place with our schematic made, and now with our lightmatic back in place, we have an idea of what we need to fix. There's a bunch of weird blocks just sitting about that just should not be here. Like for example, right here, we have some lava. What do? We get a little stone, and we fill it in. And right here as well. There we go. So we'll go through and clean this up. And now that all the lava and water is removed, we can build our trencher. Now our trencher minus the TNT is in place, so we can get ready to clear this platform. All right, with all of our preparations out of the way, we can get ready to run this thing. So right over here, we have our completed trencher, and we just have to break this block. I definitely just realized I forgot to make a backup. So we need an emergency stop button, which is this. There we go. And it's night, so we should probably sleep just in case. Now we can actually hit the start button. There we go. Now I'll be living in here for who knows how long. And we've been running this tunnel bore for a very long time, and this trencher is almost done. We're just down to the last layer or two, and this will be finally over. And we can move on to the next part of this project. But yeah, this has been running on and off for quite a while, and we're finally getting to the point where this will be over. So, this last trench, this is our final layer, and then we can shut this machine off for good. So, to shut it off, all I have to do is run all the way over here and place a redstone block right here. That should turn off our machine. So now we just wait. And there we go. It is now done. With that, we no longer need any more trenchers, and we can move on to the main specialty. But before we do that, we gotta tear this all down. It's really useful to have the trenchers when we need them, but now they're just gonna be in the way. So we can just tear them down and move on with this project. This trencher has also been quite profitable. We got a healthy amount of diamonds from it, not even trying. I just kept following the trencher every now and again when I saw them and picked them up. Now we can fly all the way to the other side to disarm this machine. Now, this place can be quite dangerous, so we have to be very careful. And to disarm, I just break the TNT. I aim very carefully and break it. And I'm intentionally silk touching this coral fan because they are kind of useful. There we go. And now we can start to tear down the rest of this machine. Now that all of our trencher materials are reclaimed, we can fly out of here and take a look at our masterpiece. I put a little temporary AFK platform over here, so we can remove that. And this ender chest goes back here, and I can pick up these iron blocks. I just used it to hide myself in. And I did build a platform up here, but I'll explain what this is for much later. Because now we have all 4 trenches out of the way. Now our primary goal for this episode is this massive redstone machine that goes all across this massive thing, and we needed these trenches to build it. So this is our world eater, and this will tear up all this terrain down to bedrock. And it is quite expensive. So if I go to schematic placements and go to our main world eater, I can get a material list. And we need a lot of it. A lot of different stuff. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to press Shift and write this to a file so I can have an idea of everything I need. These oak leaves, I'm pretty sure, don't matter, so we'll just remove them. So we'll write this, and now we have a list of all of our items that we need. So looking at our material spreadsheet, we need almost 2 shulkers of slime blocks, and we have a whole grand total of half a shulker. So we need to run our slime farm. Now, slime farm is a little weird in how it works, but it should be able to get our job done. So, first, I have a lot of armadillo scoots left over from the slime farm because when it doesn't run, it just drops a ton of them, and they're not really useful for our purposes. So I'm just gonna burn all of them and put these away. There we go. And temporarily in this chest, I'm just gonna throw a few items in, and we'll prepare to run our slime farm. Now, this slime farm is a little fancy in how it works, being that it's powered by potions, and a lot of them. All of these potion brewers here, these auto brewers, make oozing potions, which are used for slime farm. Now, these are armadillos here, and these are being scared by zombies, and these will generate our stuff. We have infestation, and we have some health potions to help, and from there we can run the farm. Now, we're not just ready to run this, we have a few things to prepare. Every time we run this farm, we have to prepare to make sure that it is working properly. So let me get a few arrows and a bow. And we need to turn on the arrow system. So that is by flicking this lever. We have a piston that'll randomly go on and off every now and again and just trigger. And that will keep it going. So if we look into that's working. And now we just need an arrow. So that's an arrow. And now it's perfectly aligned. And you see that it's on fire. So that means that this should be ready to run. Before we do anything, this does get a little laggy, and I want to make sure that this lag system will always work. So I always will place a TNT ahead of time just to test it, and it works perfectly. Awesome. So now we can grab a little extra TNT, and we can get ready to run the farm. So to run this farm, we're gonna need silverfish. So I'm gonna grab an infestation potion from our stock, and I'm gonna throw it right about here. These are already generating silverfish, and that's what we wanna see. Now I flip the on switch, which should start generating slime at a very fast rate. Uh-oh. I don't need this guy here now. Okay. And put this sword in my offhand. And now we look. Ah, this is annoying. Now we turn this on, and all these slimes in here should die. There we go. And they continue to go. So we can wait. And now we'll do this as you get more slime. And it just kills them over time. We'll run it again. There's more. Now we wait for the items to be picked up. We can wait a second. As more slimes die, we run it again. There's more slime. And this will keep going until we run out of potions, which we have a decent stock of. So what we'll do to save on resources is turn the farm off. Then we come back down here. And we look up here and we see there's still slimes. And they're still generating a little bit. So now we'll run this one last time. And explosion. Perfect. Now all of that is done. This farm is fully done, so we can put that away. We can put this bow away, and we'll take our sword back. Now our arrow system can be turned off because we don't need the arrow. And if we'd like to collect some XP, which my pickaxe could use a little, we can come in here, break these two glass, and repair all our tools. And yeah, it'll get us quite a bit of experience. Now we run back out. We can place these. And we can go to our collection system, which is right here. Now, it is not the most ideal because it is a little slow. So what I tend to do is go into the backup and just grab whatever I can. Now we're gonna need a lot more slime than this, so we're gonna have to run this quite a few times. But it is an expensive farm to maintain, so we can't run this all the time. So I'm gonna have to wait for this farm to restock itself. And for it to restock itself, it has to rebrew all of these potions. So yeah, we just have to wait for all these potions to brew themselves. And every now and again, we gotta restock the potions as well. So slowly this will happen over time. We have enough for a decent stock, but it is not great. We're just starting to get into this first chest here. But eventually we'll have enough to keep this going. And now we are many, many hours later. And I've gone and did a lot of work with the slime. So we have a full chit sulker and a little extra to get everything going. I also went ahead and did some crafting. So I ended up getting all of the materials we need for this trencher. A lot of it I had lying around, just pretty much in storage, so it wasn't too much of a hassle. And the pistons I just had to craft, we have a tree farm for wood, we have a cobble farm, we have a redstone farm, and we have an iron farm. So everything was pretty much on hand, other than the quartz of the observers. And for that, I ended up buying a ton of them off Surge a long time ago. So we ended up doing that. So we have everything we need to make this world eater. Now, building a world eater is a lot of work, and they can be quite large. So if I go into my Lightmatic mode, I can look at the World Eater, and just surrounding us completely is this massive machine, and that is what we are about to build. It will be a lot, which is why we had to get so many materials, but it will be absolutely worth it. Now, the first item I want to focus on is the slime. That is going to be the most difficult part because there's a lot of it. So I'm going to grab a bunch of stacks of it, and I'm going to turn on easy place mode. This should make it a little easier for me to do this. There we go. And now that I have easy place mode on, I can kind of just jump around this machine and place all the slime. Getting each part is going to be a little tricky, but it should be doable nonetheless. And yeah, we're just going to be doing this for a very long time. I've gotten pretty much all the slime in for the main section for the return system, so I'm just trying to get some of the other blocks in to take a little break so I can break things up. I did do some of the slime on the other side, but there's a lot of stuff to do. Alright, so we have our first pass at the return system of the flying machine now complete. So I've turned my attention over to the main launcher. So this is a very big undertaking because this section is a lot larger than the return system. So I'm slowly just going in layer by layer and getting everything we need. But it is not the simplest undertaking. And of course, I miss items a lot too. So it's a lot of jumping down into the hole and catching it. So yeah, it's a lot of this over and over again, very repetitive work. So a lot of progress has been made, and the entire bottom section of the main thing, which will be the water sweeper, is now done. Now it's just on to the very top. This is the most difficult part of the flying machine, is this is where all the explosions happen. And here we have the World Eater pretty much ready. It's not exact. I need to verify that everything's there. And then after that, we can pretty much run it and get ready to run it. Dyson is on, so I may grab him and see if he wants to be there for that. So yeah, let's verify this. I can press schematic placements, go to the World Eater, go to schematic verifier, and start a verification. In these cases, something is wrong. These are okay. This should be wrong, and that should be okay. Extra blocks are also things I don't want. So I need to check those. And we are missing a few blocks. So we want to check for these. I don't want to worry about the coral fans, but those are all the important ones. Now all of these should be highlighted. So I've run all our checks and everything seems to be good. So now I'm starting to place in these coral fans. The reason I waited on these is they're quite annoying to get, and I really don't want to have to get more. Now all that's left is to put the minecarts on. So we're gonna need about 40 minecarts, which means we need about 5 sacks of iron. So we'll do that, and that should be enough to get us started. That should craft all of our minecarts. And let me get a shulker. And right underneath this piston is the rail, and we just place a minecart. And there we have it. It should all be done. So now what we can do is we can run all the way over here. Press I, schematic placements, go to the World Eater, schematic verifier, reset data, start verification, and everything is correct. So this massive World Eater is now done. Oh, this has been months of planning preparation for this, and we finally finished the build. Now all we have to do is dig the hole, which in order to do that, we're gonna wait for Dyson to get on. So I have what is definitely Dyson right here, and we're gonna get ready to start this. I noticed that the chunks will not completely load when I'm ready to start it, so I went over here and I put a couple chunk loaders in. These aren't very fancy, they're just on the roof of the nether. They're very, very temporary. but they should get the job done for what we're doing. So I'm gonna run over here, and we're gonna have to be very quick about this. I'm gonna have to hit this note block and fly to my AFK platform as quick as possible. So, let's begin in 3, 2, 1, go. Are they all working? Looks like they are. We have our world eater. Yes. So when this is all well and done, we will have everything ready to go. Oh, I'm so happy to see this actually working. So what do you think of that first test, Dyson? You really liked it? Awesome. So yeah, we did a quick test and it works. My leaving the area was not ideal for it because I noticed we still had a beacon I had to remove. So we had a few little issues, but I think they've just about been resolved. So I cleared out everything. Everything's gone. It should be safe for now, but there is a lot of effort that goes into this. So all of this is done. And when I left to fix that beacon, I realized, oh no, I need to move. So what I ended up doing is rebuilding a good portion of the machine over in this corner because it broke. But it's all working now and everything's back in order. I verified it. Everything should be good. So I've been running this trencher for a while and it broke. It's unfortunate, but it is the reality that we're in. So what we got to do is try to repair what we can, and what we lose, we're gonna have to gather back. So what triggered this issue initially was some ice. So to avoid this happening, we're just gonna drain the pond that it was coming from. It's a new day, and I'm ready to get back onto this project. So, looking at this, we've gotten quite a bit done, and we're down into the deep slate levels. There's still quite a bit more to go, and we're gonna finish this today. So, what I'll have to do is get my chunk loader started, which I've already gone ahead and done, and then we're gonna have to start the machine. And this is the tricky part. Everything should be pretty much in order, so we should be able to hit the lever button and run to the middle as quick as possible. Now we should be able to get into our AFK platform, and we should be good to go. And after running this for no less than about 30 seconds, we have a little breakdown. This is not major. This is really easy to fix. So all we have to do is break this ice. And send it on its merry way. There we go. And now we head back up. That's not good. This would in fact turn out to be very bad. I then spent an hour trying to rebuild the machine, and unfortunately, we in fact did not have it working. The entire flying machine completely collapsed and got stuck. I tried to fix it manually and it just would not budge. I spent the rest of the day just trying to rebuild this, and I finally just finished it. I didn't even want to bother recording it. I was too frustrated, and it took so long. Literally hours on top of meetings I had today. So it's unfortunate, but it did get finished. Finally. All right, so I've gotten everything back in place after that break, and we're gonna verify this. This is correct. We don't need to worry about snow, and those are good. Perfect. Trying to get Dyson to help me with something. This is pretty complicated. There he is. Now we just gotta wait and run this for a while. So I've been running this for quite a while, and yeah, it's getting very, very close. After getting it back online, it's been running, and we've only got about 10 layers left, so I'm just watching this and hoping it finishes really soon, and that'll be awesome. And here we are on pretty much the last layer. It's almost done. This process has been kind of insane. So as you can see, there's all these lava lakes that we've been kind of dealing with throughout this entire section of the build. And our sweepers down here just clean it up and remove it all. We should pretty much have just one more to go, and we'll be pretty much done. This is great. So yeah, it's almost over. Launchers, shoot down, please don't blow up. Okay, it didn't. And yeah, it's just kind of getting the rest down to bedrock, which is what we've been wanting this whole time. Now, there's probably little bits here and there that we still have to do, but after this one layer, it'll pretty much be done. And I'm just gonna sit here and run this machine until it either stops or it breaks itself. So it's just doing its final trip on its last part of the journey. Let me turn off this schematic placement just to get a full look at it in all its glory, doing its last leg of this journey, going all the way down. I'm gonna get a screenshot of that. Holy. Oh, this is so good. And there it finishes. Those couldn't continue on, so it'll get stuck, and that will be the end of it. This machine is finally done. Just to ensure that this never runs again, that will stop it. And there we have it, our big hole. With that, we finally have this massive hole out of the way. This thing is insane, and I am so happy with how this turned out, and doing it this way saved us so much time than digging this by hand. And it looks so awesome. It was absolutely worth it. But unfortunately, that is all the time I have left for this episode. If you liked it, be sure to give it a like. And if you loved it, be sure to subscribe. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys again soon. Bye!